So on this video, we're going to talk about small steps that can lead to big wealth and some of the traps that most people fall into that prevent them from getting rich and how to avoid that. So a lot of people, first of all, they get bad advice from other gurus and financial advisors out there that basically tell you, okay, listen, you get out of college, you start saving, you put this much money away. Now, there's nothing wrong with saving. You do need some capital usually to invest. So I do recommend that if you have some kind of income, the first thing you need to do is you need to lower your expenses. So especially if you're younger. If you're younger, you need to lower your expenses and you got to live below your means for a little while so that your income can accumulate after paying all your expenses. So you do need to accumulate some money. And then what you do with that money is how you grow wealth. How you become wealthy is by taking any extra capital that you've accumulated or saved and reinvesting that either in several different assets. There's real estate, there's stock market, there's crypto, or there's business. Now, nothing makes more money faster than having a successful business. The problem with a successful business is that 90% of all businesses fail in the first year. How do you know it's going to be successful? So uh, some businesses, you might even do terrible your first year and mediocre your second year. And by the third or fourth year is when it finally takes off. I had several businesses like that. The only reason that they were successful in the fourth and fifth years because I didn't give up in the second and the third year. And some people don't have the stick-to-itiveness to actually do that. And so you either have a business that's making good money, and instead of going and buying the boat and the nice cars and the bigger houses, you need to reinvest that capital and look at your money is like little army soldiers. Look at them like little employees that you're pushing out into the world to go out there and work for you on your behalf. Because if you just buy depreciating assets like a house to live in, a lot of people think that a house is an asset, but it's not. It's a liability, because the only way a house becomes an asset is if you rent it to someone else and they pay you to live there. But if you're paying to live there, then it's a liability. So these are little common mistakes that people think. You buy a house. Now, could you make money on your own personal house that you live in? Yes. Over time, it might go up in value. Let's just say in Florida here, the average house goes up 10% a year. So if you bought a $500,000 house in 7 to 10 years, it might be worth $1 million. But how much in payments and interest have you paid so far in that 5 or 10 year period? You probably paid an extra $200,000 or $300,000 in payments, and probably none of that went to the principal in the first 10 years. So you're not making the kind of money you think. Now, however, it's still better than not doing it, right? So, but that's not an investment. So you want to take your investment capital, you want to take any dry powder that we like to say. In other words, don't shoot all your ammunition at once. If you have a gun and an intruder's breaking into your house, you don't want to fire all the rounds off because then you have nothing left. So you got to have your dry powder. That's your investment capital. You buy an investment property, for instance, a rental property, a duplex, triplex, quadplex, or a 10-unit apartment complex. Now you have tenants that are paying off the loan. First, borrow as much as you can. Take what money you saved up as a down payment. That's your investment capital. And then you have the tenants paying off the loan. And whatever's left over and above that is called cash flow. Now you have a second income coming in over and above your current business or job that you didn't have before. You also have a debt on that property being paid down by your tenants instead of you. So you no longer have to pay that debt out of your pocket anymore. You have a bunch of people that you're providing housing to. In other words, you're providing an excellent service to somebody. They're paying the rent, they're paying their rent, but that's your mortgage and that's paying off that debt for you. Over time, the debt gets paid down and the value of the property goes up, your cash flow goes up, and now you have equity. That's where wealth comes from. What can you do with that equity? Well, you can sell that property, take all that cash, pay a capital gains tax, and walk away with a profit. Better yet, don't ever sell it. Just refinance it. When it doubles in value, refinance it, pull all the equity out tax-free. Tax-free because it's loan proceeds. You don't pay taxes on loans. And you redeploy that new money, which is your new little employees, and you buy more property with it. Okay. What happens to the existing property? Well, you just refinance that existing debt and you took out more debt on it. You put that extra cash in your pocket tax-free, but the tenants are going to just continue to pay the new loan. So you're getting all that tax-free money for free. The apartment complex is going to continue to go up in value. The new debt is going to get paid down. And not only that, but you've also increased the rents because every year rents go up. So you're making higher cash flow, bigger money every month. And then you take that money you borrowed and you go and buy more real estate with it. Or you invested in other businesses. Maybe you buy a car wash or a laundromat, or maybe you build something else, an online business or something like that. So before you go and buy the luxury items, the Ferraris and the Rolex watches and all that stuff, you should build an income stream separate from your own manual labor, separate from your own time exchange. Because if you're working in a business or at a job and you're exchanging your time for that, then you will never get ahead. You have to deploy the extra capital into something else that starts to produce children. That money starts to produce baby children, baby money. That's your children. And then when those children come home to roost, instead of spending that on luxuries, you reinvest that into other things that produce more children. Before you know it, you just got a shitload of children, money coming in from other sources that you don't have to trade your time for. And that, my friends, is called passive income. And that is what you pay the Ferrari payment with. You don't pay it out of your hard-earned income. You pay it with the passive income. And that is how you can never go broke and be able to afford the luxuries. Now you can buy the dream house you want, pay the mortgage from the rental income from the apartment complex. Now you can lease the Mercedes or the Porsche, pay the payment from the income coming from the rental income. So this way, whatever business you have, whatever job you have, if you ever lose that, you can still afford all the stuff you have. That's how you get rich in America. That's the American way. Most people aren't taught this in school or college. You have to learn the hard way. You have to be an entrepreneurial minded. You have to take risks. You have to get out there and you have to start businesses. Or at least if you don't start a business and you earn an income from a job, a regular job, W-2 wager, you have to have more coming in than it's costing you to live. And you have to take that extra amount of money and reinvest it. The rich shipping tycoon Aristotle Onassis once said in an interview, when they asked him what would he do if he lost everything he has, how would he get his wealth back? And he said something pretty profound. He said, well, the first thing I would do is get a job, maybe 2 jobs. And then I would work really hard at those jobs. And every week when I got my paycheck, I would go out to dinner at the most expensive restaurant in town. And I would order the most expensive meal, and I would spend $500 on dinner at that restaurant every week. And the interviewer said, well, that sounds ridiculous. How could you possibly get rich spending all of your money every week on the most expensive restaurant in town, having the most expensive dinner? And Aristotle said, my son, it's not the dinner that I'm investing in. It's the restaurant. It's being around the people who can afford $500 dinners. And the more often you do that, the more connections you will make being around people who are eating $500 dinners. And that, my friend, is another way to wealth. You got to surround yourself with the kind of people that can help you get ahead, the kind of people that have the opportunities that you need in order to invest in order to grow your wealth. So that's just another idea for you. I'm not saying go out and have $500 dinners, but I'm saying you do need to invest in yourself, get into masterminds, get into groups of people, get around other people that are doing big things, and that will also help you explode your wealth. All right. See you on the next video.